Okay, this is video 3 out of our 3-part video series here. What the first video talked about was moving the frog. Second one talked about making the car drive across the screen. And this one's going to talk about the interactions for when they occupy the same space. I'll try to keep it simple. There's always room to embellish and make these better. I've seen like start with an animation that lets you know what game you're playing. Do more of a celebration when you win, things like keeping score. I'm not going to get that detailed, but we are just going to throw in the mechanics of the overlap here and getting all the way across. So the first thing that I like to take care of when I do this is making sure my forevers stop functioning like forevers. So it's kind of annoying if you make it across and you have a big smiley face to celebrate and the car keeps driving across the road. So I want that to end and stop. So the way I do that is I make a variable called run, and I've made that already. So when I first fire up my program, I have to set run to 1, just sort of like it being on. So this allows my variables to be on. And then I'm going to use the same thing for both. So I'll drag this out. If my variable called run is set to 1, then it'll allow my forever to run. So I'm going to duplicate this. So if run equals 1, then I can move my frog. And I'm going to do that over here in this other forever. If run is equal to 1, then my car will work as it did before. So when they collide, or when I make it to the other side of my screen, I have to make sure I turn run to 0 to turn off my car, which will prevent all this from working. So I'm going to take care of all of these little mechanics of interactions here in my smaller of my 2 little forever commands. So if it's the case, so I'm going to start with an if. If it is the case that, let's drop this in here, if it is the case that my frog's x and y values, and so I'm going to go over here and grab a Boolean statement. If the x and y, if the frog's x and the car's x are the same, and if the frog's y and the car's y are the same, that's where I'm going here. So car's x and the frog's x are the same, and the frog's y, or car's y, and the frog's y are the same. That means they're on top of each other, and that means my frog has suffered a terrible demise there. So if that's true, then I'm going to set my run, it's up here, set my run to a 1. Sorry, I'm going to keep it at 0, set my run to a 0. So if they collide, my car stops moving. Let's see if that actually works. So bring it up here, and boom, they collide. Okay, so no more car driving around. That's good. So that's a good thing to have happen here. They ran into each other. So let's go ahead, and what I want to do is do some sort of finale, some sort of ending here. So I'm actually going to make, or I might have them made already on this one. I'm going to make a function, and I'm going to call it I'm going to call this function well, what happens when they collide. So I'm going to have it lose. I lost the game. So I have a lose function. I'm also going to make a function for what happens when I win the game. And we'll cover this one a bit later. So I have a lose and I have a win. So after this event happens, I've lost. So I'm going to call this function here. So I've turned off the mechanics of my car, and I'm going to call lose. So all the things that are going to happen or show up on my screen when I lose, I'll put here in this function. So the first thing that I want to have happen when I lose is I want my screen to get cleared. I'm then going to have it pause for a very short period of time. Let's do 200 milliseconds. And then I'm going to make a big old sad face. Womp womp. Right. Then I'll have it pause for maybe a whole entire second. So let my sad face sit up there for a second. And then I'll have it clear my screen again. Take my sad face away. And then you know what? I'll have it do all these things over here. So I'll have it reset all of these. I guess I can do it like this. Ready? Duplicate the whole thing, but take these out and get rid of the unstart. I gotta figure out how to drag all these over here without being too weird about it. So here's what should happen. What I want to have happen is it'll clear the screen, it will pause, I'll have a sad face that'll linger for a second, it'll clear my screen, and then after that my frog goes back to its starting spot, my car goes back to its starting spot, and this sets my run back to 1, which causes my car to drive again and all that other stuff. So let's see if that actually works. I'm kind of hoping it will. So put the frog where he's going to get smashed. He gets smashed, sad face, clear screen, good. So it looks like it'll work multiple times in a row, smash, sad face. Okay, that's pretty good. I kind of want the same thing to happen if I win, but I want a different face. I want a happy face. So let's just duplicate all that, bring all that, get rid of this. So if it wins, I'm going to do all that same stuff, but I'll reward myself with a happy face. And then I have to figure out, well, how do I code my frog actually winning? So this was, if that is the case, do this. So else if, let's do one of those, else if equal sign, if my frog's y variable, so if my frog's y becomes a 0, which means if my frog makes it all the way to the top, so it doesn't matter where, you can make it all the way here where the x is a 4 and y is a 0, or here where x is 0 and y is 0, so it doesn't make a difference if I use it this way. If he makes it to the top, then I'm going to set run to 0, stopping my car and all that other stuff, and I'm going to call my function named win. Let's see if that works. Should be pretty easy to dodge that car. He's going really slow. Boom. Smiley face. All right, I won, and we're back in business. My car's going. I can lose. Sad face. I can win. Happy face. Let's see what happens if I win over here. Yep, I can win there. I can probably win all over here too. Yep, okay, good. So it seems to be working perfectly fine. As I said before, I'm going to call this one done at this point. But what I could do in the future, I could add more of a celebration if I make it to the top. I could add some sort of variable that keeps my score, telling me, hey, you did a great job, all this other kind of stuff. And it should work pretty well. All right, well, thank you for tuning in and sticking with all 3 videos. Hopefully you learned something. If you like this sort of content, feel free to follow along and look for more from me in the future. All right, thank you.